Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God!
Merry Christmas!
Santa's now come and gone until next year.
Oh, beautiful.
And the ornaments, they're coming off the trees.
Looks like a Christmas tree.
But at least we have our gifts from the holiday season of 2021 to remember.
Looks great. Little full. A lot of sap.
And in the investigative media business, our gifts are guys like Kemah's Matt Wiggins.
Hey Wayne, how you doing, man? Miss you.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
The year is ending for Mr. Wiggins the way it began, with complaints from water customers that the president of WCID 12 seems to forget he's a public servant and not the king of Kemah who can simply tell the little people to sit down and shut up.
What'd you say?
I said you built your little shield so you don't have to address the public, I guess.
You can be seated right now.
How dare you enter the Grinch's lair! The impudence! The audacity!
The complaints had poured in on social media after customers opened their water bills. Wiggins had added a charitable donation to the bills. Everyone likes the Blue Santa toy drive, but people like to be asked if they want to make a donation. And they called Wiggins sneaky, and it wasn't the first time. The longtime Kemah politician had been indicted months earlier for misusing their water money.
I'm certainly not worried about going to jail on this one.
Crime or not, there was no question it was an abuse of power. But to Wiggins, it was funny.
I took criminal law. One of our professors said that you can indict a bologna sandwich. A DA can if they have a pulse. I got indicted and then they gave me a bologna sandwich.
On February 24th of 2022, Wiggins also faces a formal hearing at the state capitol on ethics charges.
He's on the naughty list.
But after all that, the water board simply didn't seem to care. Want a speech on why two wrongs don't make a right?
You may remember that even the Attorney General of the state of Texas has been under indictment for several years.
The WCID board also sets fire fees. Wiggins was allowed to raise and lower them by himself, including his own properties.
You're full of it. Oh, yeah? Yeah!
In a town where conflicts of interest are ignored, Matt Wiggins is the king of conflicts. He's president of the board overseeing the volunteer fire department. And he's also the president of WCID 12, which gets to decide if the volunteer fire department gets the equipment and buildings they want. In August, we started investigating when we were told $250,000 was suddenly transferred from the bank account of the fire department to the bank account of the WCID 12.
Merry Christmas.
We looked at meeting minutes and couldn't find any vote to move the money. And by November, lots of people were asking questions.
At that point in time, the fire department had over $1 million in the bank, and we also had some issues, some legal issues scurrying around, and this is why I remember us making the change.
But there's no us. Matt Wiggins had moved the money.
I really don't like them. No, I don't.
And now we've learned just how far Mr. Wiggins has gone to develop plans for a proposed new building on the grounds of the fire station. A dormitory for firefighters. It's a risky proposition with taxpayer money because of real flooding concerns this close to the bay. There was 4 feet of water in the fire station after Hurricane Ike. Kemah fire trucks had to ride out the storm instead in Santa Fe, out in the open.
See, Max? The city is a dangerous place.
The WCID board has never approved the project at a public meeting, authorized a single penny of spending, or the selection of contractors. But we've learned at least 3 different companies have been working on the plans for the dormitory with Matt Wiggins since last December.
I commissioned this report. I thought you might want to take a look at it.
In September, Wiggins sent an email to the fire chief with a proposed floor plan attached. Please call me before sharing this with anyone, he said. And look at the name of the company who designed that floor plan. ISC Construction Services, LLC. Who owns that? Kemah City Councilman Isaac Saldana does. The new dormitory even has a name on the previously secret documents we now have. Isaac Firehouse.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that term before.
Emails show the councilman has been working on the dormitory project since last year, in the weeks before Christmas 2020.
All I did was a conceptual drawing and backed out of it. You know what I mean? So anything beyond that, I was not involved in.
That conceptual drawing, it even included the size of toilets in the dorm rooms in the Isaac Firehouse. That's a concept.
Why they would call that Isaac Firehouse?
Well, maybe because you plan to be more involved in it.
No, I did not.
And Saldana says he had a contractor his house building firm uses do the work, all for free, a favorite of Matt Wiggins.
I understand that you're investigating and I understand what you're doing and I respect it and I respect you, but that's not something that I wasn't trying to make money on that.
Yeah,
I build houses for a living.
Which makes you wonder why Wiggins would have asked Councilman Saldana to design something he doesn't have any experience designing. But it is clear the councilman was involved in this project when Kemah City Council was asked to approve a variance to help make the 3-story building a possibility. The request says it came from WCID 12, but there had been no vote. Wiggins signed it and emailed it to all the council members. Of course, he left his arch nemesis, the mayor, off the email. You can see Saldana voted yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Without disclosing it was a project he was working on.
I mean, that's a good question, I guess. I guess I never thought about it because I felt like I wasn't involved in it enough.
And we noticed who authored the site plan used to get that variance. LJA Engineering. They do engineering work for WCID 12, the city of Kemah, and the KCDC, and have been paid $533,000 this year. But the WCID board had never voted to pay LJA for any work on a proposed dormitory. In fact, WCID claimed they hadn't paid any third-party contractor to do anything on the dormitory. We asked because we had seen plans submitted by another company, Everest Design Group. But examining LJA bills separately, we found this notation just a few days before that Kemah council vote. Quoting, meeting Matt and Isaac in the field to discuss the fire station dormitory and where it will be located.
I mean, they did call me and ask me to look at the property with them. But that was it. I mean, that wasn't in the same capacity.
What capacity was that?
I mean, I guess they wanted my opinion as a city councilman.
Councilman Saldana didn't think that was worth mentioning either at the vote a few days later.
Aye.
It's a good beginning. It's creepy and kind of woohoo, spooky.
And if Matt was doing something wrong, then hopefully he's exposed for it.
I've got years of stuff Matt Wiggins has been exposed for. Saldana is president of the powerful Kemah Community Development Board, and he voted this year to add Matt Wiggins to the board too, but now says he has no position on whether the dormitory he helped design should even be built.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. I mean, it's not my deal. They got the WCID and Emergency Service Board and all, they have their own governing body.
But residents of Kemah and Clear Lake Shores deserve a full open debate before the fire department project moves forward. They shouldn't have to learn this stuff from our fights over public records.
I've got some plans that we've had drawn up, working on this for a few months.
The Clear Lake Shores mayor, he only saw the plans for the first time in November after we had asked for those records to be made public. Wiggins had preliminary plans from Councilman Saldana for a year. The new dormitory will be built separately from the fire station. Privately, there are concerns it will slow down response time.
No.
Firefighters would have to wake up, head downstairs, and then run to the fire trucks inside the station to first put on their uniforms in whatever weather was happening. So why the rush to get it started? The answer may be simple: the feud. Mayor Carl Joyner wants to put a public safety complex on donated land the city got that is higher up on the other side of 146. The mayor of Clear Lake Shores wants to at least spend some money to study the long-term future strategy. Wiggins is opposed.
We've got a set of plans that these guys have come up with that we're ready to go with.
But the king of Kemah wants an insurance policy. When you see Wiggins' texting buddy, Councilman Doug Meisinger, move to keep trying to sell that free land, there's an ulterior motive. If you start selling it, it can't be used for a new fire headquarters.
It is short-sighted and irresponsible.
The idea of selling part of that property was rejected before Christmas.
I'll make a motion to reject the offer.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
But mark my words, Wiggins' allies on city council will keep trying in the new year. It's already public knowledge that the potential buyer for half the property is a name we've heard before.
Hi, I'm Alana Croker with Keller Williams Realty Waterside.
Alana Croker, the real estate agent whose relationship with Wiggins has been under scrutiny before. She's been involved in the controversial sale of WCID property while Wiggins has been in charge.
Who did you buy it from?
I believe the water board of Kemah.
Would that be WCID member 12?
Yes, sir.
They go way back.
I have your best interest in mind.
Wiggins even paid her personal property taxes a couple of times.
Why does he pay your taxes sometimes on the property you own, real property?
Sometimes he will if I'm in a bind, and I pay him back.
How often?
I really don't recall.
Joke's on you, tough guy. I can't read.
Our New Year's resolution for Kemah is a simple one. Political peace.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
But with elections in May, voters will have a chance to end Matt Wiggins' rule on the water board. It's hard to imagine that he'll be getting off our naughty list.